guys, welcome to the Line Change. It's your host Tyler coming at you with another video, and as you can see by the topic, or the title rather, of this video, yes, we're going over, it's another video about EP40. However, in this video, I'm not going to give you my opinion on what I think is wrong with EP40 or really dive too much into, basically ripping into them. In this video, we're going to let the stats speak for themselves, because right now we're going to go over EP40's stats up until now in this season. And so we're going to also perhaps look at past seasons, as well. But in particular, we're going to go over the game log for EP40, Elias Pettersson. And for those of you that don't know what a game log is, it basically tells you a player's stats game by game, month by month. So we're going to go over that. And for example, let's look at October and see how Elias Pettersson fared in the month of October. So in the month of October, Elias Pettersson had 4 points in 9 games. So in 9 games, Elias Pettersson had 4 points, 1 goal, 3 assists. And one of the stats that I want to look at in particular that pertains to the title of this video, Elias Pettersson had 14 shots in the month of October. 14. So you see here, we have the season opener, 1 shot. Following game, 1 shot. Next game, 3 shots, 1 shot, 2 shots, 1 shot, 2 shots, 1 shot, 2 shots. So he had a shot in all 9 games, at least one. Move forward to November. Elias Pettersson had 14 punts in the month of November. So the month of November, 13 games. So 14 points in 13 games. We've mentioned in a previous video how, and if you really think about it, out towards the end of October, everyone knows, I should say, because I can see the game in particular here, the game against Nashville on November 17th was the game that JT Miller got benched, and then shortly after that, he went on his leave. And then shortly after that, we saw Pettersson go on a tear. In November in particular, Elias Pettersson came alive. And as I mentioned, 14 points in 13 games, 6 goals, 8 assists. And if we want to look at the shots, Elias Pettersson had 29 shots in the month of November. He only had 1 game where he didn't get a shot on goal, and that was the game against Boston on the 26th of November in a 2-0 win. So 1 game, he did not register a shot on goal, but he had 29 in the month of November. And actually looking back at October, his shooting percentage in the month of October was 7.1. In the month of November, his shooting percentage was 20.7. So his shooting percentage went up, and therefore he produced in November. So that shows you there. Moving forward to December, he had 10 points in 12 games. So he had 10 points in 12 games. So again, December, he did pretty okay, 10 points in 12 games, although he was a -5 in the month of December. We didn't really go over his plus minus in November. He was a +5 in November and a -3 in October. But moving back to December, he had 24 shots on goal in the month of December, and his shooting percentage was 12.5. So that's not the greatest, but it's also not bad. Obviously, it was a dip down from November. And then moving forward to January, he had 5 points in 11 games. So that's when his point production went back down. It mirrored his point production in October. No, it was just a point, like one more point than he got in the month of October. He was a -2 in the month of January. He had 22 shots. So again, there's a bit of a dip in shots. On October, he had less shots, but as we mentioned, he had a shot in all 9 games. So we're going to take that into consideration. So yeah, the month of January, he had 22 shots. Shooting percentage, though, 4.5 in the month of January. So that is a drastic downfall from the 12.5 he had in December. And then we move to February. Today is February 28th, so it is technically the last day of February. And the Canucks played last night, their last game in the month of February. And we're also going to take into account the Four Nations, as there were only 8 games in the month of February because of the Four Nations. But month of February, Pettersson only had 2 points, 2 assists. And he was a -2 in the month of February. Guess how many shots he had in the month of February? 5. 5 shots in 8 games. So we're going to go through it here. Game against Detroit on the 2nd, he had 1 shot. Game against Colorado, 1 shot. Game against San Jose, no shots. Game against Toronto, last game before the Four Nations break, 1 shot. Four Nations break happens. He registers 1 shot against Canada, 1 shot against Finland. So he had 2 shots during the Four Nations. And then Four Nations is over. First game back from Four Nations, 1 shot against Vegas. No shots against Utah, 1 shot against LA, and no shots against Anaheim. So it's looking like, at least post Four Nations, he was getting a shot at least 1 shot every other game in the month of February. That just blows my mind that he had 5 shots in the month of February. And then we didn't even look at the shooting percentage. You guys want to guess what that is? 0 shooting percentage in the month of February for Elias Pettersson. So that now begs the question that we have in our thumbnail. What's wrong with him? Why is he not shooting the puck? Everyone has their theories and is trying to understand why. Is it an injury? Is it his knee? We know about the knee injury he sustained a year ago. It was the tendonitis in his knee. Has that tendonitis returned? Has it either returned or is it still bothering him a year later? So yeah, his shooting percentage in the month of February was 0. And for each of these games that he got 1 shot in, his shooting percentage was 0. I didn't really pay too close attention to the stats until I opened up the stats before I went to go make this video. I was actually, just trying to think about a topic for this video, and this stood out to me, and I was like, we should make a video about this, and here we are. So yeah, 5 shots in the month of February. I would really like to know why. I don't want to say, I think one of the Canucks reporters should ask Elias, why are you not shooting? And maybe bring up the stats. Even if someone did, you'd probably get a similar answer to, the post-game comments he made after the Utah game. And that's the last thing that Elias needs right now. But let's also look at the stats. Now, in our previous video, at least about Elias, we mentioned how he's got only 11 goals in 53 games, which is, again, mind-blowing considering last season he had 34 in 82 games. The year before that, he had 39 in 80 games, which is a career high for him in at least goals. The year before that, he played 80 games and he had 32 goals. This was in the 2021-2022 season. His lowest goal amount was in the shortened COVID season in 2020-2021, where he played 26 games, but he had 10 goals in 26 games. So you can't really, lean on that because it was a shortened season, and he still had 21 points in 26 games. So even though it was a shortened season and he only had 10 goals, it's still a positive for him. But that's his career low for goals, because in his second season, he had 27 goals in 68 games. The year before that, he had 28 goals, 71 games in his rookie year. So when you look at this, and when you don't count the shortened season, this 11 goals that he's on is a career worst for him. I mean, sure, he's got 35 points in 53 games, 11 goals, 24 assists, but he's also a -7. And his shooting percentage for this year is 11.6. The year before, 16.4. Year before that, 15.2, 16.7, 15.9, 16.7. And then his rookie season, he had a shooting percentage of 19.4. So it seems like since his rookie season, his shooting percentage has gone down. Like it's hovered around the 16, 15. And then as of this season, it's dropped astronomically down to 11.7. What's holding him back from shooting? Is he scared to shoot? Is it the injury? Is it confidence? Like what Ian McIntyre asked him in that post game? What is it? A lot of people are saying the fans, management, the coaches should just write this season off for Elias and just hope he bounces back next season and is actually able to, train in the off season and actually get into better shape, and then possibly come into the next season having been able to fully train, and we'll go from there. But keep in mind, Elias Pettersson's no move clause that he has in his contract kicks in on July 1st. So after July 1st, the Canucks are handcuffs when it comes to whether or not they want to move Pettersson. Basically, after July 1st, Elias Pettersson holds all the cards. The Canucks no longer have leverage when it comes to trading him, which they're probably concerned about. So they basically have, if they don't deal him at the deadline, which I don't think they will at this point, I don't think any team's going to want to take on that contract, which is something you've probably heard from a whole lot of podcasts and YouTubers who, talk about the Canucks. They've all probably said, Sakaris and Price, Donnie and Dolly, all of them are saying right now, no team, no GM wants Elias Pettersson or is going to go after Elias Pettersson. At least not at his price tag. So, let's just say Pettersson doesn't get traded at the deadline. The deadline comes and goes, and then the Canucks basically have from the trade deadline until July 1st, so 3 months to decide on if they're going to trade him before his no move kicks in. So that's going to be a big decision for the Canucks, and it's not going to be the only decision they have to make. Keep in mind, Brock Besser's a UFA, and, people are wondering, is he going to get dealt at the deadline? So there's there's one decision they have to make there. Elias Pettersson, what they're going to do with him is another decision. So that's two pretty tough decisions they're going to have to make coming up real soon. And at the same time, they're fighting for a playoff spot. They're fighting to get into the playoffs right now. As we mentioned in our game recap, they are above the playoff bar. They are 1 point ahead of Calgary. So they have that second wild card spot. But if they keep losing the way that they've been losing, you can kiss that goodbye. And they might finish just outside the playoff bar. So that's going to do it for this video. I want to know what you guys think. Having seen these stats and hearing them, especially in particular the game logs, what do you guys think? What do you guys think is the reason for Elias Pettersson's drop-off when it comes to shooting? Do you guys think it's the knee? Do you think it's the tendonitis? Do you think it's confidence? Do you think it's something completely different? I mean, you can't blame it on JT Miller anymore. He's gone. So that excuse is out the window. And then what else could it be? People mention PD's line mates. Here's the thing. Whoever is a line mate of PD doesn't control whether or not he shoots the puck. That decision is 100% on Elias Pettersson. He's the one who decides whether or not he wants to shoot, not his line mates. So I'm sorry, but that excuse doesn't fly. It doesn't, because they're not the ones deciding. They're not waving a magic wand and being like, PD, you're not shooting right now. You're not going to shoot. That's not going on. 100% the decision on whether or not he shoots the puck is on Elias Pettersson, and he needs to change that. He needs to start shooting. Listen to his coach. Even his coach is telling him, shoot the puck. A lot of the media that are targeting Pettersson are telling him the same thing. Just start shooting the puck. Even if you don't have a lane, shoot the puck on net. Even Rick Tocchet said he doesn't care if he's aiming or looking for the right, shot or trying to get into the right shooting lane. Just shoot the damn puck and hopefully good things happen. Maybe there'll be a bounce. Someone can get a rebound. And hey, even if PD doesn't get a goal or put the puck in the net, it could lead to a goal. And therefore, the more goals you score, the more likely you're going to win, like games. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you're not subscribed to The Line Change, do me a real big favor and smash that subscribe button. You do wonders for the channel. Share this video if you like. Share it with your friends. Go ahead and write in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with my assessment here? Looking at the stats, are you guys just as mind blown as I am? Reading these game logs and seeing, the lack of shots in particular in the month of February. And I guess since January, they've been ticking down. For those of you watching and listening on Spotify, leave a comment. I'm going to post another poll attached to this video and basically asking you guys that exact same question. We're also, as of now, on TikTok. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.